Kate Daly Show.
All right, welcome back, Kate Daly Show. I know it's hard. What's making a lot of this difficult, I think, is I feel like we're just constantly on pins and needles with what's coming next, and then on top of that, you've got whatever October surprise that we've become accustomed to. How ridiculous, but it's the truth. What are they going to do? What's coming next? And I think the people in this region didn't have a lot of warning. It seemed some did, most didn't, and they're just trying to deal with what's going on right now and trying to have some sort of communication and everything else right now. It's going to be really tough there. It's really tough. And I love the helpers idea. I'll talk a little bit more about that with Melissa tomorrow. But there's so much to learn from this too. And there might be people out there that go, there's a storm going on, and why are you talking about weather modification? And I understand. I get it. I even had somebody very mad at me for even bringing it up and on Facebook. And I thought to myself, in this day and time, because of what's happening, because of timing, and because of so many coincidences, you've got the spruce pine thing, okay? Those mines. We have a real big problem with land grabs in this country. And so I would keep your eye on those mines and see what happens to them. And that might tell a little bit more of the story about what's going on right now. And that won't come to pass for a while. But I would just keep your eye on that story down the road. I think that they are very capable of many, many things that we don't want to think they're capable of. And I think it's hard to think that way. I think it's difficult. I think we have a tough time kind of remedying that in our minds. Why would they want to see people go through things? Can they intensify storms? They can. Can they create? Yes. They keep a lot of this under lock and key, which should make you kind of wonder what they're really up to, where they really are at with their technology right now. So there's that too. And I did want to talk about nano cloud seeding a little bit, and of course some other things. We'll get there. Hi, caller. Welcome to the show. Go right ahead.
Yes, I'd like to talk about the Hezbollah rocket attack, or alleged attack,
Sure.
mainly. But just one thing on the hurricanes. There's tens of thousands of scientists. They're dying off. They're getting other jobs because they can't get work. That are global warming skeptics. Show that's what they call themselves. So there's a bunch of them that have studied the hurricanes. So I recommend around the world there's no significant change in hurricanes, as I said yesterday's call. But to get one of them on and really analyze whether there's been an intensity, severity, or frequency change here in America, and get their feedback, because they are honest scientists, and that would be a value. But back to Hezbollah. I want to back up what you said about we're being lied to about everything over there in the Middle East and foreign affairs. In 1984, I don't know if you ever read it. I read it all the way through about 57 years ago. But in there was one government. There were three governments in the world: the Eurasia, Oceania, and East Asia, I believe they were. And the government would tell the people, it was a totalitarian system, what's happening in foreign affairs. You didn't ever hear from the other side. This is exactly what we're getting in the Middle East, in Israel. Only Israel, that's a bunch of liars, all you lies all the time, is telling us what's going on. They've lied about the tunnels. They've lied about October 7th. On October 7th, I want to mention, have people think about that. They have about 100 of our F-16s. They have something around 50 of our assault helicopters, the Apaches. Those jets can go from the very eastern northern tip of Israel to the area just off of the Gaza Strip where supposedly that assault occurred on October 7th. they could be there in 10 seconds or 10 minutes or less. Anywhere in Israel, they could be there in 10 minutes. Yet there were 5 to 6 hours, 6 hours or more, where they stood down. And then we have one whistleblower said they were told what was going on. They said, don't stand down, don't go up there. And an assault helicopter could have torn up that alleged assault. And there's still reports that there were Israeli army was involved in that attack on that day. But we lied about the tunnels. We've been lied about the genocide. And I think it was really important we realize that genocide, one of the reasons they may be doing is a practice run for other countries like America, going after patriots and things like that, to see how they can pull this off in the media and tell us it's just the opposite of what's really going on. And so what's going on in Gaza Strip, Golan Heights, the West Bank, we can't trust a word we're being told about. I think you're so right about that. And one, I would like to recommend a little essay. War is the Health of the State by Rudolph Born. Just put in War as the Health State. It's a short essay. And he wrote this 100 years ago, I think was published after he died. And he points out the government grows most, and that means freedom recedes most during times of war. And another one is, I think you brought it up in your show, War is a Racket, by a Marine general. And I recommend both of those so people can realize war is a major tool of the tyrant.
Yes, it is. Thank you so much. Love the comment. Thank you. Yes, and now it's turned into not only Reconstruction, which they're right there to make that happen, aren't they, all the time? And ever since, really and truly, since the UN was put in, it's been nonstop, right? Those contracts, right? We also have now the implementation of smart cities on top of that. So an influx of money for the rebuilding in such a way that the technology is being sold to say, in a city, to say, look how much better off you'll be. You don't need to have a car. You can walk, and we have all this technology, and everything's built into the buildings. And isn't this great? And really and truly, they're built like mini prisons, but we don't see it because it's sold to us, it's marketed to us. We don't really realize what's ahead. And so now you have that added component onto the reconstruction. So I'm always keeping my eye on that. I'm always keeping my eye on different minds and different things that might be involved here, different reasons. It doesn't mean that this was engineered, manufactured. Okay. The reason I'm bringing it up is because I think in the back of our minds, we really need to kind of just keep in the back that we have the technology to do it. And then as things shake out, like I said, keep your eye on the spruce pine mines, because that is one of the mines in the entire world that gives us our semiconductors and the pure quartz. And without that, there would be some major technology problems, because really and truly, they are funding, with those semiconductors, with the stuff they make, with those chips, AI for the future. So very important that if there was any commandeering going on of any businesses or shutdowns and reopens and new owners and things like that, I can see that would probably be, they'd probably have a pretty big stake in that, considering the fact that AI is very, very important to them. I mean, that's a fair statement, right? So there's all kinds of things with this, the lasers that I was talking about. Some people were watching this, and after looking at the footage, I mean, you can't deny that some odd things were going on top of the swirl, on top of the footage. That was strange. And I don't ever want to live in a place where I just don't want to think that, so I'm just not going to even look at it. I look at everything. Why would you not? Why would you not? I'll be right back. I have so much more. Oh my gosh. And so much more on the strike too. So much more. Be right back. I want your phone calls. 888-673-1450. If you're listening to me live in the afternoon, be right back. KateDalleyRadio.com.
Thanks for listening to The Kate Daly Show. All opinions expressed by the